Welcome to Carol Journey. We have a very, very exciting guest here. This young lady is a writer, a singer, an orator, and I want to welcome to our show Miss Barbara Armour.
Thank you so
Hello,
much.
Barbara. I'm glad that you're here. I'm so excited to hear some of the things that you're doing and everything.
Thank
And I
you.
want to start off at the beginning. I want to start off and ask you, how did you get started doing what you're doing?
All right. I'm so glad to be here with you today. I just think it's an honor and a pleasure to even be invited. I was asked to write some spiritual poetry for the Pray One for Another broadcast that we do by Robert Wiggins. And I don't know why he knew that I could write poetry, but anyway, that was a task that I was given, and it was a pleasure. I was requested to do a poem a week to be recited on Saturday. So I did it. We started that in 2015. And I've been doing that ever since with a poem written every week for the last almost 6 years. Some weeks I did skip because for whatever reason, and I would repeat something that I had already written. But it got to the point that I decided I would write a book. I had so much information, so many poems that I said, I think I just needed to put it into a book. And that's what I did. The Profundity of God. It's a spiritual anthology of poetry. So that's how I got started. But I have to say that I was writing since I was like, I guess in the 10th grade is what I recall, writing a poem or a song. And I've been writing ever since then, I should say that. I've been writing for all my life.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'd like to know what kind of spiritual thing or information hit you to get into the religious part of your poetry.
Well, I am very much involved in the church and I guess in spiritual things. So I am a superintendent in my Sunday school. Right now, we're with the COVID, we're not meeting, but I go to another one online and we have Sunday school there. And so I just love the Lord. That's basically what it's about. I love the Lord. I love to talk about the Lord. And that's where I am. I study, I tell people about him. It's all about the Lord. That's what it amounts to.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you, what is the first thing that you wrote?
The first thing that I wrote in life,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
the first thing that I wrote in life was a song. I remember we lived in Harlem at the time, and God bless you. I was in the subway. I don't remember the song, but I know it was like a love song, like "It's my birthday and you forgot me" and that kind of thing. So
Right. Okay.
that was the start of it. But I went on to do other things, like I did things in college. I know we had a what do you call it, a language arts class, and this was like in the 90s. I We had a breakfast spread and I sat down and I wrote a poem about what was on the table. I don't have the poem in front of me, but I did write it. I saved it. And it just came to me so easily. It just flowed. And that's just what I do. I mean, not bragging or anything else. It's just what I do. And I just pray that people appreciate it and, can get something out of it. So right now it's spiritual, but it wasn't always spiritual. Sometimes, like I said, it was about a unhappy birthday or the cookies and the muffins on the table, that kind of thing. But right now it's about politics and it's about God.
Now, I want to ask you, what steps did you take when you had some of your poetry delivered to Amazon?
What I did was I wrote the book and I submitted it to Ex Libris. So Ex Libris is the publisher. They made it into a book and they distributed it to, or made it available to, it's not distributed, made it available to Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. So
Uh-huh.
anyone that wants the book, they can go there or they can see me
Right. Okay.
for a copy. I have the paperback and I have the hardback. So
Okay.
there's a little difference.
I want to ask you to give me a little idea of what the book is about.
Okay. Again, this is the book. This is me on the back. I
Mm-hmm.
give a brief little bio about who I am and
Right.
where I've come from. If you would allow me, I'd like to read that part.
Yes.
Okay. It says, Miss Barbara A. Armour, although she was not born by the river in a little tent, as the legendary Sam Cooke sings in A Change Is Gonna Come, she wants to effect a change. Born in the Sunshine State, Orlando, Florida, she was raised mostly by her loving grandmother, Josie Lee, and Argie, her aunt. Her parents, Clarence and Dorothy, sojourned to Harlem, New York, to pursue better opportunities and a better life. They were reunited when she was about 7 years old. I'm a graduate of Washington Irving High School. I graduated from Bronx Community College. Then I went on and got my BBA from Baruch College. She loves music, singing, songs, writing, acting, and currently Miss Barbara lives in Brooklyn, New York. And I have to say that I have some haiku in here. I have a limerick in here, and I
Okay.
have a tribute to my dad, which he passed in 2017.
Right. Right. Well, I'd like to hear some of that.
Sure. I don't want it to be too long. I don't. I
No, that's okay, but we need to hear it. We need to hear a little bit of it
Okay. This one is
to give our
called.
audience an idea as to what's in the books.
Okay. This one is called "Will You Trust Me?" If you do not get the things you hoped for, if someone you love or you have a disease there is no cure for, when there is no food, no job, no money for clothes, no friend, when you look around and cannot see the end of this suffering, your heartache, your pain, the abuse, the blood, will you trust me to bring you out of whatever you're going through? Will you still pray to me? Will you love me and seek my face? Will you spread my word still and continue to believe in and live in my grace? If things do not work out according to your plans, I ask you, my child, my friend, will you trust me? Will you hold my hand? When all seems bleak, desperate, black, and blue, looking lost and forlorn, then too, will you trust me? Or will you trust me not and turn back? Tell me the truth now. Go on. You can say the right things, just some words from your mouth. You know what they are. But do I still have what really, truly counts? That's your heart. Remember, I am God. I know your story's outcome before it ever even starts. I wrote the book, read the last page. I know that in the end, we win. Do you have faith to keep the faith within? Dearest child, only trust and obey. Believe and you will receive. That's Almighty God's magnificent decree. And it is so. Amen.
Oh, that is very good.
God
Very,
bless
very
you.
good.
To God be the glory. Thank you.
Yeah. It's very inspirational. Could you read me another one?
My pleasure.
Yes.
I'm going to read you one of the haiku. And I don't know if you're familiar with haiku. Are you familiar with haiku?
Explain that to us.
Okay, haiku is a Japanese form of writing where they have syllables. It works in 5 syllables, and the next line is 7 syllables, and it ends with 5 syllables.
Okay.
So this one is called, well, I won't read that one. It's called Say What? Say what? Stubborn heifer, not. God's way, obey, never stop. Call that makes one hot. Selah. That's it.
My God. Oh my goodness.
And I'll read you one more. It's haiku.
Okay.
It's God. The title of it is God, a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. My success was not just predicated on me. God said, seek, I sought. Selah.
I want to ask you now, in terms of your writing and well, actually, I want to ask you in terms of your writing. You went to high school, you went to college, and you graduated with a bachelor's
BBA. Mm-hmm.
Now, what were some of the courses you took? Writing courses.
One of them again was language arts that was taken at LIU.
Mm-hmm.
And well, basically English. And I took a creative writing class at Pratt. That's kind of what I did. That's kind of
Okay. Yeah, well, what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a little short break.
okay.
When we come back, we're going to have another discussion on your writings. Okay?
Wonderful.
What's more dangerous? A man who isn't afraid of death or one who's found everything to live for? I asked him if he was proud of me. He emphatically said yes as he laid his pecan-colored head on my chest, and I went through my mind 1,000 times to figure out what that could possibly mean, and every single example ended in motivation for me. So you may not be afraid to die, but I'm more afraid to let them down. And I found something to live for, which is a dangerous motive forever fueled. See, your thoughts may be involuntary, but my actions are very calculated. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. My sons ain't raised by no coward, and they won't be one either. If this be the measure of a man, the yardstick gon' need way more meters. I take it too far, so they never come up short, because I found everything to live for.
I'm very optimistic about what the ultimate impact of these vaccines will be. When you get a certain percentage of the population vaccinated, we can create an umbrella of herd immunity literally over the entire country. That will take several months to occur, but I feel confident that if we get a substantial proportion of the population vaccinated, that we can actually end this epidemic as we know it in this country.
The vaccine is important, and it's a protective measure. Wearing a mask is important also. Physical distancing of 6 feet is important.
The vaccine is a huge step forward, but it is not a silver bullet. And so after people receive the vaccine, we still need to do the simple things that we know work.
Worried your friend's struggling but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could write him a text or knit him a sweater. If you can't be together, you could write him a letter. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking. You could chat on the game, kick off your flip-flops. You can ask on your couch while you binge watch. However you do it, you gotta ask a friend. And if they don't share, you can ask again. Whatever gets you talking. Whatever gets you talking.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
You choose. The question is to be or not to be. It's up to you. You choose. Let me see now. Do I choose darkness over light? Do I choose wrong over right? Do I choose living to live again? Or choose death and eternal torment? Hell in the end. Sin. The way is known. We know how to get there.
We just heard a tune called You Choose. And I'd like to know the process behind it. How did you get started with that?
I don't know. It says the question is to be or not to be. It's up to you. You choose. Let me see now. Do I choose darkness over light? Do I choose wrong over right? Basically, it's just explaining to Christians and anyone else that in this life, you have a choice. You don't have to go to heaven. You can go to hell. Amen. So the choice is yours. You can choose to do the right thing or the wrong thing. Do you choose the wrong thing or the right thing? Do you choose the light or the dark?
Uh-huh.
It's your choice.
Right.
It's really up to you.
Oh, yes.
I love it put to the
yes.
music, set to the music. I hope the audience enjoyed that also.
Right. Yeah, well, I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, it was
No, now, Miss Carol,
nice,
you even start.
The music now. How was the music composed? Who composed the music?
Okay, that was Robert Wiggins. That's the same one that suggested that I do spiritual poetry.
Right.
And he's a musician. He's well known. He writes a lot, and I know you know him well.
I know him well. Yes, I do.
So he had I think he volunteered. I don't know if he volunteered or I asked him, but I think whatever way we got it together is that he would do the music under my poems.
Right.
So I only got to do 6 with him. It was a long process. I think it took about 5 hours just to do those few poems.
Oh, wow.
And I think we only did 3 at one session. And then I came back and did 3 another 5-hour session. But anyway, it's his music and I just adore it. I mean, I love the music and I
love the music too. It's very, very nice. It's very relaxing, you know. I'm looking at it in terms of feng shui, you know. It's it puts you in a mood where it relaxes your body and soul, and it seeks out some sort of quietness within you.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
So I like it a lot.
Now, is that just the music or the music and the words?
I like the music and the words. Yes, I like both.
Yeah. Okay. But I understand what you mean. I never heard it expressed that way before.
Right.
But yes, I appreciate that.
And you know, it's the type of music that if you go to a spa or something, you need to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Because it brings you down, you know. If you're
it's calming.
excited to you're up in the clouds. It brings you down. It brings
Yes.
you down and everything.
In a good way.
In a good way. Yes, it is. It's very, very relaxing.
Wonderful.
So
I'm glad.
now what I need to know now is some information on where to find all your material. You have your thing on Amazon. We know about Amazon. Okay, but we need to know about your book, the book publishing, and everything. We need to know where to find these different things.
Okay. I'm not on a website at this time, but the book is published by Ex Libris. You can't see it, but it's XLIBRIS. That's the publisher. They're based in Indiana. And I am on those two particular websites, but also you can get it from me. I do I'm the poet in residence at the Word Up Cafe, which is here in Brooklyn at I think it's 652 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm there every first Saturday of the month at a gospel brunch, and I sell my book there. My book is offered there, and I get to read a poem or two. We discuss whatever we want to discuss. We have various artists there, singers, poets, political people, um, and that's where I do a lot of in-person things. That's where I launched my book from, actually, at the Word Up Cafe. And Miss Sharon Kennedy is the proprietor there. They have food. It's a small cafe. It's very intimate, but it's very nice. It's
Mm,
very nice.
right. Okay. Well, we're gonna list some of that on the video and
Okay.
everything information that you will provide for us.
All right.
Put that on. Also, you mentioned the publisher had a website.
Yes. I don't have it. I declined
Oh,
at the
okay.
time, but like I said, God willing, I'm writing another book because again, from those poems I've been writing since that time up through today, I have an accumulation. I didn't even finish writing all those that you know what I'm saying, that I had written
Right.
5 years ago. So I have an assortment, a variety, a gang of work that I can just make into a book. I just haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Now I need to ask you, what do you are you doing anything in terms of the pandemic?
I I think I have some poetry that mentions the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
as such. Nothing dwelling on it, but I spoke about coronavirus and COVID-19, and I know one or two of my poems that have not
Right.
been published, of course.
Right. I see. Yeah. Well, the pandemic is draining. It drains the emotions of people being
Mhm.
quarantined.
I know people are tired of it.
There's a lot of people right now, a lot, who's very depressed because of the
Hmm.
pandemic and everything.
Yes.
And I think that your pieces are relaxing. It calms you. It calms you down because you're feeling down when you're quarantined in the house or
Hmm.
you're free to go out. Um, and then some of the individuals are having difficulty trying to get appointments for vaccines, and then you got side effects with some of the vaccines that you take and everything.
Hmm.
So I think that your piece needs to be spread because it's relaxing and it
I agree. I
calms
receive that.
you and everything
Hmm.
in terms of the pandemic.
Not only with the pandemic, just basically going through life, because I mean, I talk about a lot of things. I talk about different holidays. I talk about Mother's Day and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, him being recognized as a great person that he was, whether you liked him or not. God is like that. A lot of different topics. And again, it's not so much to relax you as to draw you closer to God.
Right.
That's what my aim was, to just draw you nigh to God as he draws nigh to you.
Right. How are you promoting the book?
I am not doing that much right now other than word of mouth. And so anybody that can, mention the fact that I have that out, like I said, we were doing the gospel brunch, but since the last January and February, I did not go over there because they were saying, be careful, stay, away from the crowds and all of that. So I was doing it on the phone with her. She allowed me to Zoom in. She didn't do it for February. She said they had a different setup. But that's what I was doing. And prior to that, I would go in person and we would just do what we would do for that time from like 1:00 till about 3:30.
Okay, what's your plans for the future?
My plans immediately for the future are to write this second book, to continue writing. I write almost daily. Whatever inspires me, I kind of pick up pen and paper and I put it down. That's the way I have to do it, because if you let it go and I get back, it's you're gonna lose it. So, and that's for anybody that's listening that is creative. If you want to write something and it comes to you, you need to write it down right then. If you need to rest with it, a pen and pad by your bed, do that. But that's what I do. I just have a pen and paper available to me. Sometimes I travel with it also, just ready to write down whatever inspires me so that I don't lose that inspiration, lose that momentum. So that's what I suggest. Just write it down.
Right.
I'm trying to, again, get some kind of gig, I'll say, to I'm not actively doing it, but that's the point. I want to actively. We're doing a Women's Day ministry this Saturday, actually. And I don't know if I'm going to get to read my poetry, but I was offered to do that. If you want to read your poetry, Barbara, you can do that. So at least one poem, but that's the point. Any opportunity that I get, I try to share the poetry.
Are you doing anything with social media?
No, I kind of shied away from that for whatever reason. I just wasn't interested.
Uh-huh. Yes, I see. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to close. And I'm so happy to have you as my guest. And
Happy to
I'm
be
just
here.
excited because
You.
I like the stuff that you're writing. I really,
Thank
really
you.
enjoy it. I
Thank you
really,
so much. That means
yeah,
a lot.
I like it a lot and
Thank you
everything.
very much.
So I want to thank you.
You're
I want
welcome.
to thank my audience for listening in. And I want to close and say goodbye, Carol's Journey TV.